Live from Solvang in the beautiful Santa Ynez Valley, I'm Joe Terosian, and this is RamView.
It's hot out there, but let's blow them off the line of scrimmage. Headline, Los Angeles.
Live from the RamCave, not Solvang. Yes, Santa Ynez, definitely. I'm Joe Terosian, and this is RamView, the August 15th, 2025 edition, brought to you by Kistler Law Firm. Injured in an auto accident, need help, got questions? Call Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. That's Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. And check out KistlerLawFirm.com. That's one word, KistlerLawFirm.com. Kistler Law, they've been fighting for you since 92. And by Temple City Auto Repair. Having some auto issues, get yourself some John and Henry at TempleCityAutoRepair.com. As you can see, I'm not in the friendly confines of the RamCave. I have actually utilized vacation time, and I'm in the blissful Santa Ynez Valley, and I'm on the patio of a wonderful house, and I think you guys should have a pretty good view behind me. But we're going to rattle through the stuff I have here, then I'll get to your questions. I don't this doesn't feel like an hour-long show today, but let's get to it because the Rams are playing tomorrow. Matthew Stafford won't be playing. He'll have another workout on Saturday, and then we'll find out where he's at. And then after the second workout, it was a good workout last Saturday. After the second workout, that'll be the opportunity where I think we can gauge, should we be concerned, should we not be concerned, because he's going to have a workout on his own, just like he did last Saturday. It went really well, and then he was tight or whatever it was this week. He couldn't practice. If that happens again, then I think we can raise a little bit of concern, but it's not a 5-alarm fire. You've got a Super Bowl quarterback in Jimmy G, not a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but a Super Bowl quarterback there in Jimmy G. And so, again, not time to worry. Also, rehashing some of the discussions around the Saints joint practice yesterday with the Rams. Some mention was made about David Quisenberry starting at left tackle instead of Warren McClendon. I look at that as that Quisenberry is being showcased, right? And besides, we don't want Warren McClendon playing left tackle. We don't want him. He's a right tackle. You could kind of have this fantasy that you think he's a swing. In most dire circumstances, maybe. Quisenberry is much older. He's a veteran. And his future with the Rams isn't long, but he might be the future or the immediate future for some team that goes through an injury. Think Cowboys, right? So I refuse to believe that the Rams are out on Warren McClendon. And I think Quisenberry is being showcased. Emmanuel Forbes was out working, so that's all good. Running with the starters. Everyone's excited about that. And more news. We heard this. It's been under the radar because of Alaric Jackson, Matthew Stafford, and everything. But what we've heard more is about Tyler Davis, Tank Davis, looking really good. And if you think back to him last year, and I know he was a 5th round, 6th round pick, 6th round. You watched him, he was really lateral, sideline to sideline. He did a really good job. And another year under his belt, maybe Ty Hamilton in the mix to light a fire a little bit. And it is exciting to think what's going on there with Tyler Davis, that if he really develops, then you got Davis, and then you got, of course, Fisk, you got Poona Ford, you got that guy named Kobe Turner, right? And then we'll find out if Hamilton can play. And then you add Davis in the mix. That's the makings of a great rotation, whether it's Laurel Murchison or DeJuan Johnson. That's the making of a great rotation there. And I like Jack Heflin. I'm kind of interested in this Bill Norton guy because he's such a space eater. But you go in with that group aforementioned. That's a nice rotation. Let's see here. I can't see your full names because I'm on a smaller screen. I'm on my laptop today. USA Expat is in. Brian Smith is in. Thanks, guys, for coming in. USA Expat. Has Pastor Joe gone Hollywood? Should I take off my sunglasses? Are my sunglasses a bit much? USA Expat, glad Forbes is back out there and get Fergie out there catching passes. All right, there we go. Brian said, hi, Pastor Joe. Thank you, Mr. Smith. I'll tell you what. I don't want to go Hollywood, so I'll put my regular glasses on. Is that okay? Is that better? Okay, there we go. Brian Smith, 7-10 final record. Final record for the Falcons, right? Rams aren't going 7-10. Not unless there's the offensive line chainsaw massacre of 2022 that's repeated. It's not happening. So there you go. Brian's having some fun with USA X-Pac. Manny Vasquez got multiple players back to practice field. That was good to see. Landman, Forbes, Curl. Yeah, there you go. Brian Smith, quarterback is my concern. Not much depth there. Really? Are you talking about for the 49ers? Or are you talking about for the Rams? Stafford, Jimmy G, Stetson Bennett. I'm up on Stetson Bennett. Oh, there we go. Now you recognize me. Okay, there you go. It's just beautiful scenery out here. Guys, can you see it out there? It's gorgeous, right? Now, I don't drink wine, but where there's really good food, there's always wine around, and that'll lead you to the good food. Jimmy G hasn't improved in 10 years. Well, he was the quarterback that got the 49ers to the Super Bowl. He won in Dallas. I think he won in Lambeau. I'm not a big Jimmy G guy as far as my overall starter, but you put Jimmy G as a backup, I'm pretty good with it. Yeah, I think I am. I am good with that. News came out that the players got to see the rivalry jerseys, and I could care less. They're supposed to be officially released for the public on August 28th, and I hold no hope whatsoever. I really believe they're going to be a disaster. I believe it's not going to be anything you want to. Well, maybe some of the fans on the west side will like it. I don't think the fans in the SGV or in the San Fernando Valley will be too crazy about it. All right, let me keep moving here. Oh, wow, my computer is telling me. What are you telling me, Mr. Computer? All right, there we go. Again, nothing else new here. Ronnie Rivers has a sore rib or a rib issue. Cody Schrader's going to get more carries. So keep that in mind going forward. And again, Jordan Waters will probably end up on the practice squad. And Ronnie, I don't know what's going to happen with Ronnie. Even Mr. Powers down in Laguna, Niguel down there, he likes Ronnie Rivers. Even he likes the underdog guy. Even he's riding Ronnie Rivers' Rams obit. Keep an eye on Brennan Presley. He was the one that stood out of all the secondary receivers. I don't mean defensive backs, but I mean just the guys that aren't in the rotation. There's Mario Williams, True Edwards, Britton Covey. All those guys are trying to hang on. Drake Stoops. Mumfield's going to make this team. There's something really bad's going to have to happen for Mumfield to not make this team. Drake Stoops is interesting because I think any place else he would make the team. But I think Mario, True, and Britton are in serious trouble. Looking at the tight ends again, Ferguson is back out there catching passes, so we're excited about that. We talked about the offensive line. I'm curious to see, will Dylan McMahon play? That's one thing to think about. Our lad's depth chart, which is updated, the Rams' most recent depth chart, still has Dylan McMahon, who is a center. They have him listed as playing right guard, backing up Kevin Dotson. And of course, it was Bo Limmer who got the start at center and moved to right guard, and Justin Dedich who moved from right guard to center. So it's going to be really interesting the next round of a rotation there in the preseason. And then, of course, the guy that's everybody's hot guy right now, this guy might have already won the Nelson Spruce Award, is Willie Lampkin. Everyone's crazy about Willie Lampkin, and I'm not yet. I'm sorry. It's a great story. I hope he makes it. But, man, everyone's just getting all ape about Willie Lampkin. And, he did it against undrafted free agents and third stringers. I mean, maybe he gets more of a chance this week. We'll see. I'm rooting for him. I think it's a great story. I hope it all works out. I think also they might want to put him at guard a little bit too, just to see, can he play another position. Also, another guy I'm anxious to see, and I'm hoping it works out, is KT Leviston, because he played left tackle most of the second half last week, and I want to see him do it again. We talked about the defensive line. Again, count Carrots Thomas's snaps, count his snaps. Josiah Stewart, is making this team, but the idea of counting Keir Thomas's snaps is finding out where Brennan Jackson and Nick Hampton fall. Landman is back. I'm done with Troy Reader. We've already had that conversation. We talked about the corners. I talked about Forbes out there running with the starters. That's real exciting. There was breaking news. I saw someone posted. Now, I don't know if it's an old one or not, but Locked On had this breaking news about Emmanuel Forbes and the Rams signing him off of waivers. Yeah, you should have come back in January. Anyway, Cam Curl was back out there, as you guys pointed out. So this roster is starting to shape up. I think we're all pretty confident with what the Rams have out there. Let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. All right, we got some questions came in. Sorry, guys. On my laptop, it moves a little bit slower. Manny Vasquez, Jimmy G can manage a game, especially if he has a solid defense backing him up, which I believe the Rams have. Yeah. Now, I will take Super Bowl champions off the table. I will take NFC champions off the table. Can they get to an NFC championship game with Jimmy G? Absolutely. Can they get to a Super Bowl with him? Absolutely. But can they win? I'm not saying that. I reserve that for Stafford, because somewhere along the way, someone's going to have to make a BTT, big time throw, and I don't know Jimmy can do that. USA expat Hope Hunter continues to make a name for himself versus the Chargers tomorrow, and that'll be interesting. Chargers are playing a lot of starters. Depends on when he gets those touches. That will be interesting. Forgotten Locale would rather have a proper throwback kit than just throw something new at the wall in regards to alternate jerseys. Yeah, I hold no hope. I hold no hope. Brian Smith, thanks, PJ. On the Lampkin take, hearing about Dolik and Lampkin is getting exhausting. There we go. DHP, Joe T, I just noticed you were live. I'm in Solvang, man. I'm in the Santa Ynez. I'm ready to eat some great food tonight. So forgive, we're not in the friendly confines of the RamCave. Thanks, DHP, for being here. I know I came on early, but it's my chance to get the house to myself. There we go. Rams roster is getting deeper by the year. They're going to have to do some hard cuts. I think there are going to be some hard cuts. I think there's going to be some cuts that sting a little bit. And yeah, it is a deep roster. I fully, completely, and 100% agree with you on that one, Manny. Brian Smith, Lance McCutcheon. There you go. Another, I think he was back-to-back Nelson Spruce Award. He's still bouncing around. And again, when you see that, you get upset about the cut, a player cut that you really like, and it really frustrates you. It's, oh man, I wanted them to keep this guy. People really wanted the Rams to keep Lance McCutcheon, but the Rams knew what they were doing because the NFL has told you what it thinks of Lance McCutcheon, right? You see this play out all the time. And Keelan Doss, Hard Knocks, 2019 with the Raiders. He was that same guy, and he's still bouncing around the NFL, never made an impact. USA Expect, every preseason there is a who is that guy, 2025 equals Willie Lampkin. Yeah, there always is, and there's always that steal of the draft, right? Always. DHP, I hope they cut Bennett and we keep Lampkin. I'm not up for cutting Bennett. I want Bennett to have every great success he could possibly have right now, because there's not another third stringer out there that I would trust more than Stetson Bennett in this offense after 3 years. And he's liable to be the number 2 if Jimmy G has to play. And I think I'd trust Bennett at this time, because I don't want Carson Wentz at this point. I mean, and then who else do you want? Did anyone catch a shot of Justin Fields throwing the ball for the Jets? And I know Justin Fields ain't on the table for the Rams, but did you see him throwing the ball? Whoa, man. Whoa. Let's see. Manny Vasquez, Lampkin. He is undersized, but he's been pancaking players. But he's got that leverage, right? He's got that leverage. Jesus 50, thanks for joining us. I will bathe in Niner tears if Jimmy G can win us a Super Bowl at Levi Stadium. That would be freaking. Can I call you? Can I? Oh, I'd. That's okay. Okay. So real, say hi real loud.
Okay.
There you go. That's Mr. Kistler.
Hi, everyone.
Okay. You're the only one I'd pick up the phone for outside of Stan Kroenke doing the show. So I'll talk to you,
Tell
Chief.
everybody I was trying to get you tickets, but you're busy. I can find you got a vacation to go. I
Okay.
gotta get tickets for the main season. All right.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, Paul.
I gotta watch. And I gotta listen. I gotta listen to the podcast. I know it's on. Okay.
There you go. Bye.
All right.
Sorry, guys, about that. But, he is the sponsor. When the sponsor calls, you pick up the phone. I don't even pick up the phone when my wife calls. I just don't do it. Let's see. I will bathe in Niner tears if Jimmy G can win us a Super Bowl in Levi Stadium. Can you imagine Jimmy G winning a Super Bowl in Levi Stadium? I hope it doesn't come down to that. I really hope it doesn't, but possible. I mean, that would be marvelous. Brian Smith pancaking UDFAs. Right now, that's true. That's true about Lampkin. Chris Childers, thank you for joining us, Chris. Thank you guys for being patient with me. Hope Stafford can play week 1. Until I hear otherwise, I'm very confident. I'm not too concerned about this, being consistent here. If, however, he throws and they say he looks great again on Saturday, and then he's too stiff to, I don't know, pad up on Monday, then maybe I'm going to start getting a few concerns. USA expat. Bennett is good enough to beat the Niners. Now, the Ninnies. Okay. So here's one of the questions that came up with somebody about the 49ers is I think there's trouble. And I think they got issues at safety. I think Fred Warner's getting older. I think Bosa, you can't trust him. I think there's some holes in that forward wall. I don't think it's a great defense. Demadori Lenore has some legal issues going on. There's stuff going on there in Frisco. But what I've heard people say is they're whitewashing it all, saying, oh, but it's okay. Robert Saleh's back. Hey, Saleh does a great job as a DC there. I'm not arguing that. Are they going to be awful? No, they're not going to be awful, but are they going to be the 85 Bears? Or are they going to be the Jets of 20 or the 49ers of 2019 before Saleh went to the Jets? I don't think so. And it's just, to me, with the 49ers, it's age across the board. And as, again, we're watching this preseason and camp unfold, we're seeing young guys get hurt. We're seeing people want new contracts. It's not their old guys yet. So they're going in there relying on Bosa, relying on Warner, relying on Trent Williams, relying on CMC. And there's problems with there. There's real problems with that. I totally agree. So Brian Smith, wasn't Jimmy G the highest paid quarterback in the league at one time? Yeah, he was. I think, for a brief moment, right? And he was. And yes, I agree, Brian. They are in trouble. Okay, you guys know what I do. I won't push too hard. I'm going to trust that you're buying my books. We already had an introduction from the sponsor. So check out Kistler Law. They are great. And everything. I do this. I was a sports writer for 21 years. We still contribute to Mid-Valley Sports. I don't run the show over there. I was one of the founding guys, but I left. Tim Peterson, Dwayne Barker, they cover the Chargers. So they're in the room with the Chargers, and I get to do RamView thanks to you guys and our sponsors at Kistler Law. Go buy my books, Joe Tarosian on Amazon. And they allow me to come to places like this every once in a while. So I appreciate it. Around the NFL and other places, we got a couple games tonight. Seahawks, Chiefs. Seahawks are hosting the Chiefs. I'm kind of interested to see how the Seahawks handle a game at a base level emotion. There was a lot of emotion. That game was right down the cusp of being a regular season game between them and the Raiders because of the Pete Carroll factor. And so I want to see how they play without that emotion, right? I still think they're a good team. I don't think they're going to win the NFC West, but anyway, they're still a good team and they can sting the Rams. And the other game tonight, which was that other game? I think it already started, the East Coast game, Titans at Falcons. A lot of great stuff. They're talking about Cam Ward. And of course, the Falcons quarterback name is now Michael Penis. And I don't know, do you fire somebody for that? Does somebody get fired to replace the X with an S? That one's going to be pretty interesting. Longtime NFL guard Brandon Scherf, top 5 pick, 2015 out of Iowa, Big Ten guy, made 5 Pro Bowls with the Taxkins, signed a fat contract with Jacksonville in 2022, was a free agent this offseason, didn't have any bites. He has officially retired. Matt Breida, journeyman running back. Remember, he had some really nice moments with Fog City back in 2018, 2019. He bounced around after that. Miami, Buffalo, Giants. He hasn't played since 2022. He officially announced his retirement. Titans released former Rams lineman Chandler Brewer with injury designation. Brewer was with the Rams in 2022, and he had that opportunity, but he was another one of the victims of the offensive line chainsaw massacre of 2022. And the Bills have placed former Ram linebacker now / defensive end Justin Hollins, which they just recently signed him. They put him on the injured reserve. So there we go. Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. Jesus 50. Why did the Rams offense suck during their scrimmage with New Orleans? I heard it was up and down. I heard they started slow, but when they picked up the pace with 2-minute drill, they got it straightened out. And again, that doesn't worry me. The Saints did get to the quarterback quite a bit. It'll be interesting who else was starting and who else was playing in that joint practice. I heard they got good pressure on the quarterback. So yeah. So I don't know. I'm not worried about it that much. Brian Smith, you are welcome, sir. USA Expat, Rams offense went super vanilla versus the Saints and their ex-Ram D coordinator. That's right. Brandon Staley there is in New Orleans. Thank you, USA Expat. Brian Smith, wide receiver Ricky White III, 86 for the Seahawks, was a guy I was hoping to be a Ram. You know what? He was not in my radar, but I'll look him up. I promise. DHP, I would rather have a short center that pancakes than an emergency quarterback. Yeah, that's kind of a good one there, DHP. That's good. Mr. Powers, just quoted you earlier in the show. Hey, Joe, how far is Santa Ynez from Fresno? I hear Warner's son is starting quarterback for Fresno State. Is it a possibility that Rams scout him for future quarterback? I don't know. Are you being cute there, Mr. Powers? It's a little early in the game. Let's see how he does with the Red Wave. Let's see how he does. No. Santa Ynez is in Santa Barbara County. That's vacation. If you go to FNO during the summer in August, that really is a very loud FNO. I'm not going to Fresno in August, man. No way. I might go to Hume Lake, but I'm not going to go to Fresno. There we go. Okay, real quick here, sticking with around the NFL and other places. I got to tell you, one of the things I'm getting really, really sick of is I'm getting sick of the whole push for flag football for the girls, right? It's like flag football. We're reaching everybody. Nah, I don't care. You can do it. You can invest in it, but I don't want to hear about it. I just don't care, right? So from pushing flag football to male cheerleaders to another year of social commentary in the end zone, which is often Marxist, it seems like the NFL's hired the Bud Light team that elevated Dylan Mulvaney, right? It's like, hey, we need a group to come up with a great marketing plan to make us look good. Hey, who's that guy that put Dylan Mulvaney in front of the camera to push Bud Light beer? Oh, take that team and apply it to the NFL. And you can sell it because Goodell buys almost anything. I imagine Jan Skinner, his wife, has to go shopping with him because he sees something and he goes, oh, let's buy this. And she probably has to step in. Again, what's the problem here? The problem here, even though I get a chance to talk about an NFL team, the real problem here is the NFL has no competition. There's no legit USFL. There's no legit WFL. There's no legit AFL. There's no legit football organization out there that can push back. Because I guarantee you, if there was another group out there, and I don't even know if it's possible anymore, but if there was another group out there that's pushing the flag football, pushing the male cheerleaders, pushing all the social commentary, doing all that kind of stuff, the jack wagonry the Rams are probably going to do with their rivalry jerseys, all that stuff would be gone and it'd be back to hardcore football. But because they have no competition, they can play with these stupid, ridiculous things, right? I'm tired of it. So anyway, there you got my whine in on that one. And I lost my audience on that one, and either that or something else disappeared on me. Let's see here. Coffee Mug Joe, are you in the SGV? On a regular basis, Coffee Mug, thank you for joining us. I hope you like and subscribe. I am in the SGV, but today I am in the Santa Ynez Valley because I'm on vacation for my day job. But thank you for joining us. Bo Limmer equals Creed Humphrey. Is that what you're saying there? Is that an equal sign or a point sign? I'm as tired of hearing about Creed Humphrey as I am hearing about Willie Lampkin. I mean, I like Willie Lampkin, but man, Creed Humphrey's the greatest Ram who never played for them, right? I'm a Bo Limmer guy. Pastor Joe, you're early. I'm cooking dinner. I'm sorry, man. I had to get on now, or I was never going to be able to. Brian Smith, Brian Allen, short center. Great 2021 season, right? Bravo, Brian Smith. Great 2021 season. And then it all came crashing down. Let's see. Ram74. Thank you, Ram74, for joining us. Appreciate you being here. Hope you can like and subscribe. Brian Smith. Let's see. USA Expat. Let Mina go cover flag football. There you go. That's a great call. Brian Smith. Mina is confirmed Seahawks fan, has been for years. Google it. I believe you. Manny Vasquez. Texans are injury riddled right now. Now from the Rams need to take advantage of it in that first game. And if they're going to be in that first game, pound it. They got the edge guys, right? They got the edge guys, but I think they're soft in the middle, man. Soft in the middle. In the middle, as Lee said, they will break. Now, of course, Lee lost at that moment, but in the middle, the Texans will break. Tim Powers, I think wide receiver Cover makes this team over Xavier Smith. Are you serious? Wouldn't you be disappointed, Mr. Powers? Well, what about Britton Covey do you want? He's old, right? He's smaller. What is it you covet? Do you covet him holding on to the ball on a punt return? I don't know what you want out of Britton Covey. I don't. I will be really disappointed if Covey makes this team over Xavier Smith, especially what you're starting to see from Xavier Smith in the passing game, elevating to go get the ball, making the catch on fourth down. I mean, nice, right? Brian Smith is saying Bo Limmer is better than Creed Humphreys. I don't know, but from your lips to the small G football god's ears, I'll go with you. Manny Vasquez, every Ram fans I know, including myself, was pounding the table for Creed Humphrey. But other teams passed him too. And because they didn't take Creed Humphrey, you can't hold Tutu responsible, right? You can't. And there we go. Brian Smith, Xavier is on the team, and I hope he stays on the team. I hope he does. I hope he does. All right, let's go. Let's look at some teams here. Chargers, given that they canceled the joint practice due to injuries against the Rams this week, and that's why the Rams went against the Saints, and that they have lived under a curse as Chargers and the Spanos family, I do not understand why Harbaugh is playing starters tomorrow night against the Rams. I just don't get it, right? I think I made my prediction. I said Rams 35-17. Is that what I said? That was my prediction. Because I thought Harbaugh wouldn't play any starters. But given all the injuries they've had, I wouldn't let a starter anywhere near this field. Now, I know he's got his philosophy, and he's Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh, I give him credit. He went to a Super Bowl and lost. I give him full credit for that. But dang, why would you do that? Why would you do that? I don't understand. Yeah. Everything else pretty much status quo right now. Talk to you about the 49ers. All right, I think we got it here. I think we got most of it in. We're hitting the 28-minute mark, guys. I do appreciate you again for being here. On this day in Rams history, I don't have my intro music. Sorry, I'm on the road. On this day in Rams history, the Rams released former Maryland quarterback Mark Manges. Now, everyone's saying, who's Mark Manges? Mark Manges, if you're an old Sports Illustrated guy, on October 4th, 1976, Manges was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and the headline was Maryland on the Move. That 1976 Maryland team went 11-0 in the regular season before losing to Houston in the Cotton Bowl 30-21. They went 11-1. They went 8-4 the following year, and then the Rams drafted Mark Manges, 4th round, 105 overall. That's a pretty significant pick. What was at that point, a 12-round draft by 1978? You got a guy that's taking 105 overall. That's an investment. That's an investment. And who was the Rams head coach in April of 78? Was it George Allen? I think it was George Allen, right? And then George Allen on August 13th is fired as Rams head coach officially. And on August 15th, 1978, 2 days later, Mark Manges is put in the street. Unfortunately, Manges passed away a couple years ago in 2023. He only had one NFL appearance. That was in the 1978 season. He came in week 16, probably handed the ball off, and that was with the Cardinals. Never attempted a pass. Had a cup of coffee with Canada, and then in Canada at CFL, and then was in camp with the Eagles in 1980. Who was the head coach with the Eagles in 1980? That was Dick Vermeil. And who hired Dick Vermeil as the special teams coach? George Allen. And so I only bring that up is because it's really good, and you guys have done it before, is to thread together when a coordinator goes someplace else, or a player leaves in free agency or is cut or just moves on. What's the connection? Because a lot of times, most of the time, there's some connection. And I like pointing out those things. Those things are good for us to see as football fans. Let's see here. I got more questions rolled in. Brian Smith, Rams can't afford Creed Humphrey. Hey, we won a Super Bowl with Brian Allen. If you remember, coming out of 2020, Brian Allen, I think, missed that season. 2019, he played, and he was horrible out of Michigan State. And going into 2021, if you remember, Austin Corbett was supposed to be the center. The Rams let Austin Blythe walk. Blythe played center in 2019 and 2020. Austin Corbett, early on in the summer, the talk was they were going to move him from guard to center. It lasted about as long as Steve Avila did at center last year. And so they moved him back, and there was a lot of talk about, oh my gosh, Brian Allen playing center for the Rams. We're not going anywhere. I think he finished in the top 10, according to PFF. And I don't know if he was a Pro Bowl alternate or what, but the Rams won a Super Bowl with Brian Allen. So if I can win a Super Bowl with a guy I'm paying one rock to, or 862 rocks to, or 877 rocks to, whatever the baseline is, I'd much rather do that than pay the 18 mil, which is what Brian Smith is saying Creed Humphrey makes now. Absolutely. Manny Vasquez, Humphrey was an actual need for the Rams, but the pick was treated more like a luxury one when they picked up Tutu. I'm not arguing. And I was as surprised when they took Tutu Atwell as anybody else. I really was. I would have been thrilled with Humphrey, but they didn't do it. And that's why I just kind of want to move on from it, right? Dano, Pastor Joe, who is the breakout offensive player? X-Man is my choice. Don't say that to Mr. Powers. Don't say that to Mr. Powers, because he's a Britton Covey guy. Don't say that in front of Mr. Powers. But yeah, I like him. I like Brian. I like Xavier Smith a lot. I think the Rams like him a lot, and we want to see what happens. Brian Smith agrees with Dano. Brian Smith, Xavier has a roster spot barring an injury. Okay, I got to run through this really quick because my computer needs a boost, and I'm eating up battery time. August 16th, we're not on the air tomorrow. Rams are playing. Dates are funny things. On June 8th, 1973, the Rams traded Roman Gabriel to the Philadelphia Eagles for touchdown Tony Baker, right? 2 first-round picks, plus a third-round pick, and Harold Jackson. On June the 8th, 1987, the Rams traded Barry Redden, drafted in the 14th overall, 1982, to the San Diego Chargers for Buford McGee and a second-round pick. We recently talked about this. That second-round pick in 1988 was Flipper Anderson. On August 16th, 1978, the Rams traded Jackson to the New England Patriots for a third and fourth-round pick. Both become inconsequential. But today, or tomorrow, August 16th, 2023, Buford McGee turns 63. Just a lot of interesting correlation there with dates. And I loved Buford McGee. Buford McGee was drafted in the 11th round, 286 overall by the Chargers in 84 out of Ole Miss. After 3 seasons in San Diego, was traded to the Rams, played in Anaheim from 87 through 91, served 3 years as a starter at fullback, H-back, taking the Mike Gooman role, caught 127 passes, including a career high 47 in 1990. I always love talking about Buford McGee. Harold Jackson was initially drafted by the Rams, 12th round, 323, 1968, 323 overall, 1968 out of Jackson State. Was traded in 1969 along with John Zook. Okay. It was really interesting. Guy named Youngblood 53 on Twitter posted some shots of Leroy Jones, who had played a little bit in Canada, left school early, couldn't get drafted, and finally the Rams got him in 76, and he played really well that preseason. But when you got Fred Dreyer and Jack Reynolds, what are you going to do? Rams dealt him to the Chargers for a pick because there was no room for him. Same thing with John Zook. You got Coy Bacon, you got Deacon Jones, and John Zook had a really nice career with the Falcons and Cardinals. He wasn't at Dreyer or Youngblood or Coy Bacon or Deacon Jones level, but he had a great career. So Jackson, after his rookie year, was traded in 69 with rookie John Zook to the Eagles for Izzy Lang. Lang has one carry for the Rams. History's over, right? Returning to the Rams in 73, Jackson became, of course, the home run complement to Chuck Knox's running game. 40 catches, 13 touchdowns, 4 against the Cowboys in the first half on October 14th, 1973. After several good seasons in New England, remember, it was Harold Jackson was traded when George Allen came to the Rams, or was with the Rams after 1 year. When George Allen came back to the Rams in 78, Harold Jackson was traded again. Didn't want to deal with Harold Jackson. Harold Jackson went to New England, played well there, had a brief stop in Minnesota in 1982 before finishing up with Knox in Seattle in 83, closing his career in an AFC title loss to the Los Angeles Raiders. And again, I go back to this. If Jackson had been to a couple Super Bowls, just made an appearance, he should be and would be already in the Hall of Fame. Consideration: 579 career receptions in the 3-year cloud of dust, 3 yards in a cloud of dust era, 200 with the Rams, 76 touchdowns, 36 with the Rams. He lost conference finals in 74, 75, 76, and 83. He wins 2 of those games, makes a play or 2 in the Super Bowl. He's in the Hall of Fame. He should be in the Hall of Fame before Drew Pearson. He should be in the Hall of Fame before a lot of those guys that you see, because he played in an era and the bulk of his career before the initial softening of the defensive back rules in 70, or hardening of the defensive back rules in 78, and it's only become worse. All right. I think we got it. I went 37 minutes. I have no outgoing music. My battery is about to die. Can I put my sunglasses back on so I look cool? Guys, I just want to say thanks for joining with me. I do appreciate it. And if I get the chance, I will broadcast tomorrow night after the Ram game. I just don't know when that's going to happen. And I'll have to figure out a way to do that when it's dark, because I don't want an audience, right? I don't want an audience around me making faces at me, right? It's bad enough we got the sponsor calling us when I'm on the air, but that's okay, Mr. Kistler. Thank you for calling. All right, guys. God bless. Take care. Thanks for hanging out. Guys, if you're new with us, please hit like, subscribe, spread the word, and we'll leave with the intro.
It's hot out there.
Bye, guys.
Let's blow them off the line of scrimmage. Headline, Los Angeles.